Hi, welcome back to Movie Review Mom. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me here on my little channel. I really appreciate it. Be sure and comment down below, as well as look and click on the links in my description, and that really helps me and my little channel grow. So thanks. So today, the movie I'm reviewing is called African Violet. The movie doesn't have a rating. However, I'd probably give it a PG, maybe, and I'll tell you why. And it's an hour and 33 minutes, and the movie review mom grade I'm giving it is an A-. So first, I'll give you a quick overview in a nutshell. I'll point out some things I liked and didn't like, tips for parents, and even themes that are worth talking about. So first of all, in a quick nutshell, Dream Lab Films and director Motamed-Aria, I probably didn't pronounce her name correctly, present this very gentle and insightful movie based on a true story. So the director wanted to make a movie about a strong woman who was kind, humble, and had empathy for others. And as she thought about it, she realized she actually had a woman exactly like that in her family, and the movie story was born. This movie has actually already received quite a bit of international acclaim in various film festivals, so I was really intrigued to watch it. The story is generally about a woman who learns that her ex-husband has been put in like a retirement home, placed by her and his children, and she decides that's not good enough for him. And so she brings him home to her house because she's this very compassionate woman. Sounds really good, right? Well, the small hiccup in the plan is that her current husband is not really happy with the idea. Now, this is an Iranian movie and it has subtitles. I like foreign films, but I don't watch a lot of them only because the American films keep me plenty busy. And sometimes I just don't have the energy to read the subtitles. Boy, doesn't that sound lazy? I know a lot of American audiences are like that, but I think that this film is really special and possibly worth your view. So let me give you some quick tips for parents, and then I'll go on to the things that I really liked about it. First of all, kids are going to be extremely bored. It's an adult talking movie about adult relationships and that kind of thing. So it just won't hold their interest very much. There's no profanity or inappropriate content for children, really. I mean, it's family friendly in that regard. There's talk of a divorce and talk of just relationships, life, death, healing, that kind of stuff. So again, boring for kids mostly. Some themes that are definitely worthwhile are forgiveness, friendship, love, marriage, loyalty, strength, devotion, communication, family, motherhood. And then there's one moment where some people are talking about how if you do a good deed, God will reward you. And that's one of the motivations for the good that the people do in the movie. And I think that's a really interesting concept. Are you being good because you'll be rewarded or with the hope of a reward? Or are you being good because you just want to be good and you think that that's the right thing? So anyway, I think that that's a really fascinating topic. Now, some things that I really liked about the movie are, first of all, because the movie takes place in Iran, I just think it's fascinating to be literally in the home of a family that lives in Iran and to see their outdoor shopping area and their streets and the cars they drive and the clothes they wear, the beds they sleep in, everything, the food that they eat. I just thought that that was really interesting. And speaking of food, in fact, I used to teach at Le Cordon Bleu, which is a culinary college, and I have the weight gain to prove it. But anyway, I loved working there. Because of my love for food, I thought it was especially interesting to see the types of food that they ate, on the dinner table that this mother, the matron of the home, cooked and fed her family. And I just thought that that was really cool. I've never seen such gigantic naan bread. I'm assuming that that's what it was. The real flat Middle Eastern bread. Here in the United States, I've seen it as large as maybe that big. But the husband comes home from the store and brings this one, and it's huge. And then another time the wife comes in with several more, and they're huge. I just thought that that was so interesting. And the food actually looked really good too. There's absolutely lovely music, and it's not overbearing at all, which sometimes dramas can be, or even foreign flicks can be. I thought that there was some beautiful and very thoughtful composition in the cinematography, very well filmed and thought out. The actress will be completely unfamiliar to most American audiences. The cast was really talented and includes Fatima Motamed-Aria, Saeed Agakhtani, and Reza Babak. Again, I apologize for ruining their names. I'm sure I said that wrong. I also thought it was really interesting to see a married couple sleeping in the same bedroom, but in twin beds rather than, king size or a queen size bed together. And I don't know if that's typical of that culture. It reminded me of when I was a little girl and I watched old reruns of I Love Lucy, and, in black and white, and the couple, Ricky and Lucy, slept in twin beds next to each other. Anyway, again, I was so fascinated with the culture because I've never been to Iran, and most Americans haven't as well. So it's kind of a fun look inside their lives. I also thought it was really interesting during this one scene that a policeman comes and knocks on the door to the house. And really, when you knock on the door, you're really knocking on the outdoor of an interior atrium, and then there's the house. So that again is different than most American homes. But anyway, he comes knocking on the door and says there's been a complaint about a particular character, and that character is then dragged off to prison, spends the night in prison to find out who complained and what was said. And I just thought, yikes, that's pretty scary. Now, I love the title of the movie, and that's kind of what drew me in, because the movie poster doesn't have pictures of African violets at all. So I was intrigued to see, well, what's the tie-in? And actually, if you do a YouTube search for African violet movie review, you'll see a big list of videos about African violets, the flowers, how to care for them and all the different varieties and that kind of thing. And I actually wanted to learn about the flower because I knew there had to be some symbolism embedded into the movie and some lessons maybe that the director wanted to teach us by using the element of this flower, the African violet. So there are a couple of connections in the movie that are very, very obvious, but I wanted to point out a few that were maybe not as obvious. For example, African violets do best as an indoor house plant. And the parallel there is this ex-husband who's in this nursing home, basically not doing well, getting sick actually in the nursing home. And so when he's brought to the home of his ex-wife, he begins to blossom, you could say, just like an African violet. African violets are actually kind of tricky, at least for me. I feel like I sort of have a green thumb, but I have a hard time helping them to continue to flower. They like to be watered from underneath the leaves. You know how sometimes we pour water on top of the plant? You have to be really careful not to touch the leaves. And so I thought it was interesting because there are quite a few scenes in the movie where it rains. And I noticed that maybe it's a coincidence, but it seemed like this man got more sick or became more fragile, or something happened after a rainfall. Again, maybe I'm really stretching and looking for symbols here, but I did think that that was kind of interesting. It is said that the African violet is actually a symbol of strength and loyalty, two qualities that we absolutely see represented in this ex-wife. She's a very likable character. You want her to be happy and successful, and she knows everybody in the village and she knows all their business, and she's just got a cute character and personality. And I think the African violet absolutely represents her. She gives a couple of them as a gift, and then another character sort of falls in love with another character who sells African violets. So those were the two obvious tie-ins. Anyway, while the movie takes place in Iran, it doesn't address political issues or make cultural statements about society at all. It really is a movie about love, marriage, loyalty, and communication. And all of those themes are absolutely universal. Um, Now, and finally, the last thing that I really liked is the movie poster itself. It's very colorful and it draws you in, and you're like, what's happening there in that picture? Now, there were some things that I didn't like. First of all, the ending seemed so rushed. The movie is a slow burn, and so I was surprised that the ending happened all of a sudden. And I wish that I could have experienced more of that and savored more of it at the very end. The tone of the scenes changes rather quickly, sometimes without really a clear transition to explain how much time has passed and why characters might have been behaving differently. There's a little bit of humor in the movie, which I always appreciate. Maybe a little bit more would have been nice. For example, there's a really cute scene. It's very endearing between two men. And I don't want to give you all of the details, but one of the men tries to help the other man, and he says, "Men are like brothers. We've all messed up sometime in our lives. What matters is that our women don't find out about them. Will get in trouble if they do." And so there's this really cute interplay between men and the brotherhood that men share, as well as women and mothers, and that special friendship and communication style that women have. So again, there are a lot of really interesting relationship insights in this movie, and I thought it was well worth my time. I really enjoyed it. Now, another very different but equally powerful movie about marriage, communication, and loyalty, and that is Marriage Story. It's an American movie featured on Amazon Prime. It has outstanding performances that earned Academy Award nominations and Golden Globe nominations and Critics' Choice Award nominations for both Adam Driver and Laura Dern. And Laura Dern actually won the Academy Award for her performance, although I thought Adam Driver was mesmerizing. There's this one scene in the movie towards the end where my jaw literally hit the floor. I was just like, wow. I was just absolutely stunned by his performance, and I so wanted him to win the Academy Award. However, it was won by Joaquin Phoenix for his role in Joker, and of course, his performance was incredible too. It's just too bad they both couldn't have won. Anyway, both movies will leave you with a feeling of melancholy and sadness and profound insight into these types of relationships and life in general. If you're in for a drama with great performances and worthwhile topics to talk about, I recommend both of those movies. All right, thank you for, again, spending some time with me. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell, and that will notify you every time I upload a new video. And now that some theaters are starting to open up a little bit more and more movies coming to hit the big screen, as well as on streaming. So stay tuned for more. Until then, be safe, healthy, and kind out there. Bye for now.